What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode. So, let me get back to it. So, after the riot, the second riot, where one would, and for now on, I'm going to refer to them as Woods instead of white boys. I'm used to calling them white boys because that's what everyone used to call them. But they prefer to be referred to as Woods. I'm no longer in prison, and I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. No one has asked me to change this, actually. It's just something that I thought of. And so I'm going to refer to the white boys from now on as Woods, or at least I'm going to try to. And so after the second riot with the Woods, we went back on lockdown, of course. The police are upset because they're racist. This is their prison. And the Woods, a lot of them got hurt really bad. Now, when we go back on lockdown, we know eventually we're going to come back off of lockdown. What's the next move? Because really, the next move is on them. They attacked, we attacked them back. Now what? We even? Or are they about to try to attack us again? To my way of thinking, I know that if someone has lost, then they want to respond and retaliate until it is at least even, or they're winning. And though it was two riots, they were not winning, because the first riot, you can't even say that they won the riot, even though they had weapons. The second riot, no black got injured. It was all of them that got injured, all of them. Every one of them that was on the yard got hurt badly because everyone was very angry. And so, as I explained earlier, or before, to my way of thinking, we as a community must begin to go on the offensive. Yes, we went on the offensive right this last riot, but that was in response. I'm telling the blacks everywhere that from now on, when we sense any tension on the yard, you have to be aware, pay attention to what's going on the yard. And oftentimes, you will know when something is up. I'll explain how later. But when we sense something is up, we're going to attack them, whoever it is. There are a few reasons for this. For one, we gain the respect of everyone. For two, we save a lot of lives. Because if we are always on the defensive, like we are in this damn country, then we lose a lot of lives because we are not prepared. We are not as strong because we're just reacting instead of acting first. So when we went back on lockdown, I told the blacks, every one of them. Now, I wasn't the shot caller. No one was. We just had a few strong guys, or everyone was strong. But we had some that, had more influence. I would say I was one of them guys. And so in the group, it would be 4 or 5 of us that had the influence on the yard, and we would discuss the politics of the yard. In this situation, when we went back on lockdown, we were communicating with each other, the 4 or 5 guys. And they were asking, what should we do next? Is it over? And I explained, it's not over. They're going to try to attack again because they took a lot of losses. They look bad right now. and we are not going to be sitting ducks. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to attack them again. Immediately. Long story short, one guy was in dissension. He believed that it was over and we should just let bygones be bygones. I didn't believe that that was feasible. I believed that they were going to try to attack us because they had just took those losses. And so finally he came around too and he agreed. Either way, everyone else had already agreed, so it was about to happen. And he eventually agreed as well. And so what happened was, we came back off of lockdown about 9 months later, on lockdown for 9 months. And when we came back off of lockdown, the very same day that we came off of lockdown, the same strategy almost worked out to perfection. The blacks surrounded them and attacked. We gave a call in Swahili. I'm not going to reveal that now. And we attacked. And once again, all of the whites that were on the yard, all of the woods, they were injured. They were stabbed. And a couple of them, shockingly, they tried to run. It's understandable almost. It's understandable why some of the blacks in Pelican Bay ran. To tell you the truth, you're unprepared. You have multiple people coming at you with knives. You're a little concerned. You haven't been through anything like this before. Perhaps your first instinct is to get out of Dodge, to get out of the way of violence. That's not to justify or excuse it, because they should not have ran, only because there were other blacks that did not run and had to stay there and fend for themselves. And should they all have stayed, it would have been less hard on the blacks that did stay. And so, life or death, you do not leave your comrade. You do not leave your brethren. If you die out here in the yard, I'm dying with you. And so we went back on lockdown. And now it went to hell in High Desert. The police are extremely upset. They're hitting our cells. They're not even feeding us some days. We're on lockdown, so we can't get to the food. They're not bringing us our breakfast, our dinner. They're pissed that we didn't attack the woods twice. After we promised them it was over after the second one. But it wasn't over. It was a lie. We went on the attack because we're sick and tired of being attacked anywhere and everywhere. We are men. And sometimes people need to learn that, and they have to learn it the hard way, unfortunately. I'm not an advocate for violence. But when you're behind those walls, things happen. You must defend yourself, self-preservation, the #1 law of the land. Oftentimes, self-preservation means going on the attack because you save your life when you're not always on the defensive. That's my philosophy, people. So we went on lockdown. But this time, when we went on lockdown, as I said, they're withholding our food. They're pissed off. They're not giving us our mail. No canteen, no yard, no packages, no nothing for 2 years. 2 years we were on lockdown. 2 full years with no yard, no canteen, no packages. Everybody in there was losing weight, including me. I got real small. After 2 years, people were stressed out. Meanwhile, they're transferring the whites out of high desert. They're going to Tehachapi, the main line. They chilling. They not up here stuck in high desert on a 2-year lockdown. Just the blacks are. And then the blacks that were involved in the riot, they put us in one section, had the Norteños and Sureños in the A and B section. It just made one, totally separated, totally racist. In fact, the internal affairs, after the 2 years on lockdown, they came to high desert to investigate because people began to complain even on the street because their loved ones are getting small, etc. The cruelty of it all, of this lockdown, I'll explain it later. It was cruel. So now, internal affairs told high desert, y'all have to let them off lockdown right now. In fact, that is the reason, that lockdown, I promise you, is the reason that the California law changed to where now all California prisons, you can only be on lockdown for 2 weeks at a time. 2 weeks, that's it. Then they must let you up and give you some sort of program, yard or something. And that's because we were on lockdown for 2 years because of these riots. They were pissed off. Again, this is a white man's prison. And though the whites had attacked us first, how dare us fight back? How dare us respond? You know your place in this country. Since when do y'all fight back? We've been attacking y'all. Y'all are not smart enough to organize. Y'all can't come together. So they were upset. Internal Affairs told them, y'all must let them off lockdown now. So guess what they do? They call 9 blacks, I was one of them, one by one to the program office and put us on a lie detector. This is in high desert, man, in 2005. They asked us questions, all the same questions. Are we conspiring to attack the COs? I said, nah, man, what are you talking about? They said, well, we got word that you guys have been plotting to assault staff when you come off of this lockdown because you've been on lockdown for 2 years and supposedly you're all upset about that because supposedly we've been transferring the whites and leaving y'all here to suffer, and you guys are pissed off. Also, you guys are still upset because you feel like we let the whites come to the yard in the very beginning of this war with their knives to attack you guys. You were too busy responding to that attack to this point. But now we feel like it's been 2 years, you're done with the whites, and it's our turn, it's the police's turn to be attacked. And so they asked me on a lie detector, do you know of any plot to assault correctional staff, etc.? They got 9 of us. Me, I can name them all pretty much. Fred Dog from 5'9" Hoover. He ended up coming in the cell with me when we went to the hole. Lowdown from Insane. Chicken Swoop, rest in peace, from Long Beach. Lil Man from 11A East Coast. Sinbad from Gear Gang. Stoney from A-Tray Gangster. And somebody else. So after the lie detector test, they put me back in my cell. I told my cellie, the homie Bo Pete, I said, it's all bad, bro. They finna come and get me. Bullwinkle from PDL and Ragtime from Swan. It was all of us. Bullwinkle from PDL and Ragtime from Swan was the other two. It was 9 of us. And they came about 3 days later, come running in the building, the goon squad and all that. Porter, cuff it up, ran to my cell. Bullwinkle was upstairs from me, ran to his cell. Cuff it up. I already knew they was coming. When they took me to the program office and put me on a lie detector test. The fix was in. And from there, it got rough. I'll explain what happened with that in my next video. Subscribe and like, y'all. Thank you.